Well, hello to my Sunday school friends. It is really nice to see you. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you're happy and that you're doing well in school and that you know that God is with you always. Many of you will watch this video down the road, but it's going to be released in time for Sunday, April 10th, 2022. And that is Palm Sunday. It's not what we're going to talk about as our main story. We're going all the way through the big stories of the Old Testament. You know that. But we should at least say what Palm Sunday is. So this coming Sunday, April 10th, Palm Sunday, is a day when we remember the day that Jesus rode into Jerusalem and was hailed as the King. That he rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, and people thought that he was coming to set them free, that he was going to be the King of Israel. They cut palm branches from the trees and they waved them and they shouted, "Hosanna, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." And they took off their coats and their cloaks and they put them on the ground so that the donkey rode over them so that his feet wouldn't touch the ground. And they yelled and they sang and they prayed and they thought that Jesus was going to drive the Romans out of their country. They didn't understand that Jesus is the King of all people, of the whole world, of the whole universe. They thought he was just going to be their king. And when they figured out that he was here for everyone who needs, everyone who believes in him, they were very disappointed. And some of those same people cried out just a few days later for Jesus to be crucified. Can you imagine that turn in their hearts? At any rate, on this Sunday, if you come to church pretty much anywhere in the Christian world, you're going to get handed a palm and you're going to get told this story about Palm Sunday. And so now you have a heads up on that. You'll know what's coming. But you and I are still doing our story series about the Old Testament, and we are in a really sad part of the story. If you remember, over the last couple of times, Saul has been getting angrier and sicker and crazier, and he has tried to kill David. He's tried to kill his own son for being David's friend, and he just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And in our last story, David had run away from Saul and had shown up at the high priest's place, Ahimelech, and had asked Ahimelech for food and for some help. And Ahimelech didn't know that there was any trouble between David and Saul. So Ahimelech gave him everything he could. He gave him the holy bread, the show bread that's on the altar of the Lord, and he gave him Goliath's sword, and he prayed for him. And remember, there was a guy, one of Saul's servants, saw this. And remember, I told you I don't know how to say the man's name, right? It's D-O-E-G. So I'm just calling him Doug, but that's probably wrong. Anyway, Doug saw Ahimelech, the priest, give David the food and the sword and pray for him. And when we left last time, we thought, I wonder if there's going to be trouble there. Well, the answer is yes. So, when we start our story today, Saul has gathered all his servants around him, and he is in a towering rage. He is so angry. He said, "Why won't any of you help me against David? Why won't any of you tell me where he is? Why won't any of you tell me when my son makes a deal with David and protects him? Why have you all turned against me in favor of David? You think David is going to give you command of the army? You think David is going to make you rich? Why would you turn against me?" And he's going on and on and on. And Doug sticks up his hand and says, I saw David. And Saul says, "Where?" And Doug said, "Well, I saw him at the tabernacle where the high priest Ahimelech gave him food and prayed for him and gave him Goliath's sword." And Saul said, "Get Ahimelech and all those priests here right now." So messengers went, and they told Ahimelech that the king was demanding his presence, him and all the priests. And so they all went, to Saul, and they said, "What can we do for you, king?" And Saul says, "Why were you helping David?" And Ahimelech said, "Are you kidding? That's your son-in-law. I've helped him lots of times. All of us here have helped him lots of times. He's like your best general. He's the guy that you send into the most dangerous situations. He always answers your commands. He always does what you tell him to do. I didn't know that there was any trouble between you and David. I mean, he's married to your daughter. He's your son's best friend. He's your best servant. I had no idea. So please, King, don't hold it against me that I gave him food and I gave him a sword when he asked for a sword and I prayed for him. That's kind of my job. There you go. Well, there was no talking to Saul. He was so mad that he ordered his soldiers to do something horrendous. He ordered his soldiers to kill all of the priests. And the soldiers looked right back at him and they said, "Nope, King, we're not going to do it. You can send us into battle. You can tell us what you want us to do, what city you want us to take. Our lives belong to you. But nope, we're not killing the priests," which was exactly the right thing, right? We don't do things that are wicked just because someone tells us to, right? And the king looked around and his eyes fell on Doug and he said, "Yo, Doug, kill all those priests." And Doug did it. He killed them all. He killed 85 priests of the Lord. 85. It was a horrible day. It was a terrible day. Only one of the priests got away. That was Ahimelech's son, Abiathar. And Abiathar got away, and he ran and he found David, and he told David about what Saul and Doug had done. And David said to him, "I am so sorry. It's my fault. I knew that when Doug saw me that there was going to be this trouble. Listen, you stay with me. I will protect you. The one who's trying to kill you is trying to kill me, but you will be safe with me." And so Abiathar stayed with David, and the nation of Israel mourned for their dead priests and their dead high priest. I told you it was a terrible story. There is so much pain and brokenness in the world. Thanks be to God that Jesus has come to fix the world and to set us free. And thanks be to God that you belong to Jesus. I'll talk to you soon. I hope this story gets better, don't you? Bye-bye now.